Hi, so I'm feeling festive, as you might be able to tell, and I thought I would do a bit of a kind of 12 days of Christmas style type blog in regards to Christmas films. So last year I did a bit of a countdown of my favourite Christmas films and said a little brief bit about why they were good and why I enjoyed them and why I liked them and all the rest of it. But I thought this year I'd kind of elaborate that a little bit, and I'm going to do 12 days of Christmas, so 12 vlogs or 12 blogs about Christmas films that you should definitely watch and why. So I'm going to kind of do it as in the 12 days of Christmas as if they end on Christmas Eve, because if you're watching anything other than the BBC One film on Christmas Day, then we need to talk. The only excuse for not watching it is if you're sleeping through it after a big dinner. That's acceptable. What's not acceptable is watching ITV. You need to watch the film at 3 o'clock or 10 past after the Queen. Every other day there is a film for every occasion. So I'm going to start off with a film that it is a Christmas film, but it's a slightly contentious one in that is it specifically a Christmas film or not? And I am going to start by talking about Meet Me in St. Louis. Now, Meet Me in St. Louis is a slightly iffy one in that it doesn't all take place at Christmas. You know, there's a really famous bit that takes place at Halloween, for instance. It kind of takes place, if I remember correctly, over the course of like a year or a few months. So it's not actually specifically set around the Christmas period. So Meet Me in St. Louis is Judy Garland. It's directed by Vincent Minnelli, who was Liza Minnelli's father, obviously married Judy Garland, and it's a musical, surprisingly enough, set in St. Louis, and it's about this family, the Smith family, and they are kind of excited about the World's Fair that's coming to St. Louis in the coming year, and they are a family of daughters with a really henpecked dad who's brilliantly played by Leon Ames, who, as I think I've mentioned previously, does a really line in overwrought fathers in this sort of era. So it's very much up his alley, and he's brilliant in it. Just a man who is just done. Okay, he has just got too many women in the household, and he gets a job opportunity to leave St. Louis, and he wants to move the family away. The issue with this is the eldest daughter, who has a bit of something or nothing going on with a fella in New York. They have a really funny scene where she's got a phone call. He said he's going to call her at XYZ time. So all the daughters and the mum and the maid kind of conspire to get dinner out of the way so that she can have the room with the phone into herself at this time, and Dad's having none of it. It's too hot. He wants a nice cold bath before dinner, and they're rushing him through his dinner. Like, he has one slice of beef and they take all the plates away and like, right, off you go. And he's like, I want the rest of my dinner, thanks. And then they get really cross that they haven't managed to vacate the room, and they're all like, well, you've ruined her chances at marriage. So yeah, she's got that going on. Judy Garland is the next eldest daughter, and she has the hots for the guy next door. I want to say the guy next door, I don't mean like a cute little all-American type. I mean, he literally lives next door, which is like both convenient and massively inconvenient at the same time, I should think. So yeah, she's got the hots for this guy, and they have the usual kind of rom-com style, will they, won't they get on and they don't get on, and there's like a misunderstanding where the youngest daughter at Halloween is playing some pranks and almost gets hit by a trolley bus, and she kind of lays the blame at his door, saying that he hit her and all this, whereas what he actually did was like try and save her. So Judy Garland goes around and like beats seven bells out of him and's like, stay away from my family, even though you're at the other side of a picket fence or whatever. And then it's all resolved, and they all know he's a good egg, and he tried to do his best, and it wasn't him. It was this little brat who is honestly the most annoying child in movie history that is to blame there. So it all comes well in the end. it has some of the really like famous kind of songs in it. So one song is the trolley song, where she's surprisingly up on a trolley and she's off to go see the site where the World's Fair is going to be with some of her friends, and she's decided that she's head over heels in love with this neighbour, and she's kind of singing about it and getting all giddy and all the rest of it. But why it is a Christmas film, and I'm counting it in the list, is it is the film where the really, really famous Christmas song by Judy Garland, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, debuted. And it's a bit darker than what you expect, that song in the film. There's a line change in it. In the most famous versions that you probably know, like Frank Sinatra, and basically every cover version since, they've sang Hang a Shining Star Upon the Highest Bough, whereas she sings Until Then We'll Have to Muddle Through Somehow, like Until Next Year. And it's really kind of a bit more, look, we're going to have a crap time, but we just need to get through it because we're together as a family and we need to have the faith that one day we'll be back in St. Louis and we'll see the guy next door whose name I can't remember to save my life, and we'll get back to the house and our friends and our school and all the rest of the stuff that we're familiar with. So yeah, it is a bit darker, to be quite honest, which I don't know how I feel about that now that I think about it, because you expect it to be quite jolly as a Christmas song, and it's not, but I quite like that, I think. I quite like the fact that it's accepting that, you know what, people are having a bad time, even if it is Christmas, and if you're together with people, then you just need to make the best of it. Yeah, so I guess that's a decent enough message. It's a great film. It's very of that late 40s, early 50s Technicolor. They invented a colour, believe it or not, in musicals at this time called Minnelli Yellow, because Vincent Minnelli didn't like how yellows showed up on camera, so he invented his own shade of yellow for sets and costumes and things that he wanted to make everything really pop. And I think that's part of the reason why the film really does stand out. I think there is a certain kind of quality about that almost pedanticness of filmmaking and getting the quality right. And I mean, it's Judy Garland singing one of the most famous Christmas songs in the world. You can't really argue with that. So even if there is a bratty child, it is a good film, and it is a Christmas film. If you watch it and you watch the scene just before Judy Garland starts singing, she sings it to her littlest sister, who is having a paddy because she doesn't want to leave St. Louis. Santa Claus won't know where to find her next year. What if they don't have a chimney where they're moving in this city? What if? She's having a tantrum. They've been building snowmen all day, and she goes outside and knocks the snowmen down. And they're obviously cardboard or polystyrene or something. They look nothing like snow. It's hilarious. But, you know, it's in the moment, it kind of works. And of course, everything comes right at the end. They end up staying in St. Louis, going to see the World's Fair when it arrives. The eldest sister's got with this will they, won't they fella. She's all settled down. Judy Garland's with the boy next door. The sister's still a brat, but she hasn't moved, so she's happy enough. Gad's basically still henpecked, and, you know, I kind of feel a bit bad for him because he's given up his dream job or whatever, but, you know, he seems to be secondary in all this, which is actually a bit grim now I think about it, but, you know, it's Christmas, he's made sacrifices for his family. So, yeah, Christmas film number 1, First Day of Christmas. Definitely the one you need to go investigate first. Ease yourself into the Christmas spirit.